Hey, welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. I'm Liv and welcome to today's video, which is a TBR Cart reorganization. Hello, welcome. So welcome to my TBR Cart reorganization. I don't really know what this video is going to look like. I hope it's going to turn into a video because I like the idea. So basically the other night I was trying to think of something to film because I had no ideas. I was looking at my shelves, looking at this cart, and I thought, this cart is not really a vibe at the moment. Like, it's not properly set up, it's really messy, it's kind of ended up as a dumping ground, which I will show you in a moment, for books. And yeah, I'm just not really happy with how it looks. I think as well that none of these books are a current really priority. So I guess the thinking was that I want to change this TBR cart into a cart for the books on my physical TBR that are priority and reads that I really want to read at the moment. I have this thing where, I'm sure it's a pretty common thing when I'm in a mood read or I'm looking to pick up my next book. I don't want to pick a book off my TBR and I'm looking at my shelves at what to read, and I'm just standing there for like 20 minutes overwhelmed by options, and I have just no idea what I'm in the mood for, what I've been wanting to read. I just get overwhelmed by the choice. And this is like front and center in front of all of my big shelves. So the thought is that front and center, right in front of me, less overwhelming, I could have all the physical books that I want to read ASAP in, you know, easy to access front and center. So that would encourage me to be able to pick a book quicker and waste time and beat the slump by having all of the books that I'm really in the current mood to read. So yeah, I really want to fix this up. I thought maybe potentially I can just show some clips of me cleaning this a little bit, and then I guess just talking you through some of the books that I'm popping on here. Yeah, just none of these books at the moment are really a priority for me, and they're just kind of, this cart is kind of getting like, I don't know who I'm rubbing it. This cart, poor baby, is kind of getting like neglected a little bit and just ignored. It's also, as I said, become a bit of a dumping ground. Down the bottom, I will show you in a moment, this one that you can't really see has become a dumping ground for unhauled books, and some have been shoved behind as well. I don't really have any room to move these unhauled books elsewhere in my room, but I guess that seeing it sitting in my room not neatly, well, not really neatly, not shoved in the cart out the way, will encourage me to get rid of them quicker. So yeah, I'm just gonna, I guess, talk you through the process. Right, now's the moment to shame myself on the internet. So here's a TBR cart. We've got the first rung, we've got the second rung, and then the third one. If you can see, I have shoved heaps of books that I've unhauled down the bottom there, and some that I haven't unhauled in videos yet. And then behind, if I can show you as well, I've shoved more books behind that I just haven't put back on my cart properly. So yeah, she's looking a little messy. First things first, let's get these unhauled and soon to be unhauled books off this rung, and then take these books off and pop them on my shelves. So I have this tub next to my mirror already with some unhauled books in there, so I'll see how many I can plop in there, and the rest are just gonna have to go under my bed. Yes, I am wearing tracky bottoms. It's like almost 10 o'clock at night, alright? Leave me alone. that is my cart emptied. This cart cost me like 24 bucks at Kmart, and I think you can tell because like there's just 2 loose screws sitting in it. I think it's because it's very cheap and dodgy, and when I put it together the holes didn't quite line up properly, so I don't know where these have come from, but we're just gonna like put these to the side and ignore that. So now I'm just gonna talk you through, I guess, what is my physical TBR priorities. The one book that is staying that was already on there is Once and Future Witches by Alexi Harrow. This is a witchy book about 3 sisters in 1893 that join the suffragette movement in New Salem. There's no such thing as witches really anymore, not since the burnings. The sisters begin to pursue the forgotten words and ways that might turn the women's movement into the witches movement. So this sounds really good. I've heard nothing but good stuff. So this one is staying on the cart. I guess I'll chat to you about the hardbacks that are going on this cart, because I'll do the big thick hardbacks first, I guess. I don't really have a plan for how this is meant to look. It's just vibes. Anyway, so the first hardback on my physical TBR priority list is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This is like an Arthur retelling. I've heard everyone just absolutely be in love with this book. I've attempted to start it so many times, and I know I'm gonna love it because, like, you know, Arthurian legend, like, what's not to love? And also this cover is just stunning, but I don't know why. Maybe I'm just like scared I'm not gonna like it, and I would be really sad if I don't like it, because I mean, this sounds amazing. So this one's going on there. I'll pop that because it's taller. Or should I do like not size order? Should I do like a tall and then a small and then a tall? I don't know. We'll see how it looks. Next up is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This book just sounds like a good fun time. I think it's about this girl and this rich guy dies and it's 10 o'clock at night, alright? This rich guy dies and names her in his will and like says, you can have all my fortune, but the only catch is she has to move into his like mansion, but his 3 like grandsons live in this mansion and they all think she's like really dodge and like, you know, she's bad news. And then I think the mansion is full with riddles and puzzles that the grandfather, who's the man that gave her the money, has left for them to play the game and figure out the riddles and stuff. So this one just sounds like a fun palette cleanser, and I've heard really only good stuff about it as well. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, and then we have some fun variations with size. Next up is The First to Die at the End by Adam Severa, which is the prequel to They Both Die at the End. That's basically set in this world where there's a thing called death cast, and it calls you and says you're going to die within 24 hours. You don't know exactly when or how. You could die any time between the call and 24 hours. Like, you could die at any point, so you don't know when or how. And it's about these 2 really different boys who spend their last 24 hours together, and it is the most adorable romance. It's absolutely devastating. I sobbed so uncontrollably in that book. It's one of my favorites, and I think this is about like the first night that death cast was a thing. So this has been out for a while and I'm very ashamed that I haven't read it yet. I also have The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Ardern, which is the sequel to The Bear and the Nightingale, which is the first book in the Winter Night trilogy. That was one of my favourite books of last year. The fact that I have not continued on with this series is not a surprise. I also should say with this book, I have tried to incorporate as many sequels to this TBR card as I can, because I need to put sequels at the forefront of my mind, because I will never ever finish any series if I don't. Next up, None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marnie. This is a young adult like thriller. We have 2 kids that join up with the FBI in like the 80s, and they join on to help interview like juvenile serial killers, and then they get drawn into like active cases. And one of the kids, Emma, becomes a conduit between the FBI and an incarcerated serial killer who is a super intelligent sociopath, and he's an expert manipulator playing a very long game. This is kind of giving me almost like Criminal Mind vibes. I don't know why, just the interviewing criminals and getting caught up in a case, and I'm in a Criminal Minds mood at the moment. It's my current personality, so that's why that this is on my current physical TBR. Then we have The Exiles by Jane Harper. This is the third book in the Aaron Falk trilogy, or you might know it better as like the book that The Dry is in. I am literally currently obsessed with Jane Harper's writing. Like, I've only just started reading her this year and I'm almost through all of her newer works. Her writing is incredible, and I have been waiting for months to get this book because it came out in the tall paperback and all of my other books in this series are in the short paperback, and this literally just came out in the short paperback, and I was like, I refuse to buy it until it comes in this, and I was like, okay, I'll just read it from the library in the meantime, but it was never in, it was always out on loan, so I finally have a hands on my own copy. Next up we have a couple of queer space opera kind of books. This one is about Rig. She's a gunslinger, she's an outlaw, she's always one step ahead of the law, and she is on the ship called Bluebird, and then it kind of all turns really bad. A girl called Pirate, who's Rig's sister, is kind of taken by these bad people, I think, and because Rig has something they want, so if she doesn't hand it over, her sister dies. So then she gets this librarian girlfriend, which is probably why I bought this book as well. Rig's here to be gay, do crime, and hopefully not die in the process. Amazing. This one's another queer one. This is young adult as well, The Disasters by M.K. England. This is about this hotshot pilot, Max, who kind of gets kicked out of this elite school academy, and he gets framed, and him and like all of the kind of outcasts at this academy are the sole witnesses of this attack, and they are framed as kind of the scapegoats, and then him and these kind of misfit group have to go around and clear their names and spread the truth about what actually happened. It sounds like a little bit of found family, apparently some queer characters. Love. I've also been wanting to do a science fiction reading vlog, which is why these are on my mind and priorities, so let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, because these are two books I would definitely be featuring in that vlog. Next up, we have another sequel. Look at me go. This is now sequel number 3 on the cart. Are you proud of me? Actually, I have to read them for you to be proud, probably. This is The Whale of Ascension. This is the second book in the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. Literally read The Final Empire a couple of months ago. One of the best things I've ever read. Why am I not continuing? Probably because she's thick. Alright, that is one level done. Let's move on to level 2. So next up we have The Silence of Girls by Pat Baker. This is another book on my long list of Greek mythology retellings with a feminist spin. Next up we have Battle Royale by Koshin Takami. Look at this edition, she's stunning. This is a updated translation from Japanese. I just can't get over this cover. This is like maybe almost like the original Hunger Games. I feel like maybe the Hunger Games said that they took big inspiration from this. Basically, they send a bunch of school students to an island to, kill one another until one person stands. So everyone says if you love the Hunger Games, you're gonna love this book. And yeah, I love isolated island settings and people going crazy on islands. So this is a recipe for a book I'm gonna love. Like I said, Greek mythology retellings are a priority, so the next one is 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. Then we have The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is obviously the first book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Come on, it's about time already that I read this. I absolutely loved The Hobbit. Next up, Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmer. As you can see, I've previously attempted to start this. How far through? I got like 100 pages into this book. Everyone is absolutely raving about this book at the moment, and I remember really enjoying it. I just put it down for whatever reason, so it's going on the cart because I was really enjoying it. To continue on with books that I started and I really loved and never finished, The Dark Tide by Alicia Jasinska. This was an amazing, witchy, slow burn, sad book, and I believe I was really not that far from finishing. I can't tell you exactly how far through I got, maybe like 150-ish pages. I was absolutely loving it. It was atmospheric, it was sad, it was witchy, and I felt like it was absolutely going to break my heart, which I'm kind of in the mood for, which sounds so weird, but I'm in the mood for a good book cry. So I really need to finish this because I was really, really loving it, and I need to know what happens in the end. I need to know what choice our character made. Then we have The Streaming Screamcase by Jonathan Stroud. This is the first book in a middle grade series, the Lockwood & Co series, that is about this world where it's kind of infested and overrun with ghosts, and it's kind of stopped the world from advancing technologically, so they're just kind of really old school and don't really have a lot of technology, and the only ones that can kind of see these ghosts are like teenagers and kids, so they are trained up to hunt these ghosts. This was a Netflix show that I was absolutely obsessed with. I think it's one of my favorite shows of the year. It felt like the show was made for me, and then it got cancelled, so I picked up the book immediately as soon as I could find it because I just want to get back into this world, and I'm very sad it was cancelled and I need to know what happened. So this one is a priority because I bought it and I was so excited to read it, and then I've just popped it on my shelves and kind of forgotten about it. Then we have The Burning God by R.F. Kuang, the third and final book in the Poppy War trilogy. So I've read the Poppy War and Burning God quite a while ago, and they were absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I see the hype. They deserve the hype. But I never finished the series, and I think I'm kind of scared to because this series takes a lot out of you to read. It is really heavy. It's a lot, and it's like you have to be in the right frame of mind to read this series. Although I feel like I will have to reread, The Dragon Republic before I get into this one, but it's still good to have the visual reminder here that I need to finally finish this series and break my heart again, probably. Speaking of finishing trilogies, we have A Conjuring of Light by B.E. Schwab, the third book in the Darker Shade of Magic series. I loved this series. I loved the characters. Kel, I loved. I thought it was so cool, and I have these gorgeous editions of this book. And I just never finished it. Again, I don't know how to finish a series, can't relate, don't know what that is. And I think I especially need to finish this because I'm not really up to date on my B. Schwab news, but I feel like there's a new book coming out to do with this world. Let's speed run this a little bit so this video doesn't go on forever. We have Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I really want to read this book. We have The Fifth Season by M.K. Jemisin. This is on my 23 and 23. Okay, just had to do a bit of an angle change so we can see the bottom rung. Then we have Furyborn by Claire Legrand, the first book in the Empyrean trilogy. This I've been putting off for years. It intimidates me very much so. That's not a sentence. I think because it's set like over a span of 1,000 years, that is really scary to me, and I feel like I'm gonna be, whoop, they're gonna fit, yeah. I'm gonna be too much of a dum-dum to really understand what's going on. We also have Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. This is by a absolute crap ton of authors. These are just kind of Star Wars famous scenes from different authors' perspectives, so it sounds really fun. I can't remember who I saw recommend this book, but someone was raving about it, so it's really good, and I love Star Wars, so it'll be fun. Another sequel, look at me go, is Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray, the second book in the Diviners trilogy. I absolutely adored the Diviners. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic book, and I'd love to pick up this book soon because I really want to see what our faves are up to, get to know some of our side characters a little better, and get back into that spooky, scary setting, because the first book was scary as hell. Next up we have the second book in the Chaos Walking series, and this is The Ask and the Answer. I read the first book, The Knife of Letting Go, years and years and years and years ago, and in that book like men could like hear each other's thoughts. And yeah, the premise was absolutely fantastic. The book was so good, so interesting, and I need to finish the trilogy because, you know, it's only a trilogy, it's not that long, and I was absolutely obsessed with the first book, so why would I not continue on? We have a novella, and that is Gleaning by Neil Schusterman. This is just like a little novella to this Scythe series, which is about a world where they've kind of defeated death, disease, all of that nasty stuff, but there are people that train to be scythes who kind of cull the population and keep the population in control. I've had really mixed experience reading that series, but overall I loved it, and I am excited to see exploring some different stories within the Scythe world. Continuing on with some more manga, we have JJ Kaizen, Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 1. I feel like I absolutely love this. And then we have Fruits Basket Volume 2. Fruits Basket is one of the best things I've ever read, and it is a crime that I haven't continued on, so we'll pop these both on the cart. We also have another manga here, and that is Tokyo Ghoul Volume 1. I watched a bit of this anime a little while ago and really liked it. Really dark, so I enjoyed that. We also have The Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I believe this is about a librarian, and she works in a library that has like magical grimoires, and I loved that. And then I really love, I forgot about this cute ass bookmark with little hearts on it. Anyway, I love the trend on TikTok, and it's like convincing you to read my favourite book based on the first lines. And the first line of this book is "Night fell as death rode into the great library of Summershaw." And I saw that quote on someone's read this book based off the first line videos, and that has encouraged me to move this up my physical TBR. So I'll pop that one on as well. Okay, this is my final one. It's not going to fit down the bottom there, so I'm going to have to rearrange a little bit, but the final one is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I read The Night Circus years ago and absolutely fell in love with Erin Morgenstern's writing. This one seems a lot more complicated and very, very, very intimidating. Alright, so I'm not super happy with how this looks, so I'm just going to do a little bit of rearranging. Looks like I have a little bit of room here, so good thing I had a backup book, and that is Emily St. John Mandel's Station 11. This is a pandemic book. Too soon probably, I know, but it's about a travelling symphony that goes from camp to camp in this pandemic, and there is a violent prophet who is threatening to get rid of the band's existence. And yeah, this sounds amazing. It has won the National Book Award. Oh no, actually I lie. It's a finalist of the National Book Award, so it's got to be amazing. And it fits perfectly in here. Lovely. The only two things I'm allowing back on this cart that were on there before, other than books, are my very neglected reading journal and my Kindle, because I feel like these are appropriate to slide behind. Okay, so here's the final look. I ended up not going with the different sizing and just did it in size order because I just didn't like how it looked that much, but I'm really happy with how it looks. so much neater and beautiful and more full, and yeah, I just think it looks really nice now. So there we have it. That is my little makeover for my book cart. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was semi-interesting to you. I'm really glad that I've done this, and now I have most of my really high on the list physical TBR priority reads. So next time when I go to pick up a book, I've got all of these sitting here right in front of the shelves waiting to be read. Let me know in the comments below, do you have a TBR cart? Do you do what I did before and just threw whatever on there, or were they your most recent reads, or do you have it like I do now with your actual physical TBR priorities on this cart? Let me know in the comments below which books I have now got on my cart that I should prioritize. Thank you so much for watching this little video. As always, all my social media links are in the comments below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to see more of my content. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!